The Thread Twister 2000. Welcome, folks, here at Squirrel Dogs America. I got a good one for you today. My old sawbones doctor, he got me back in the sling. My shoulder keeps jumping out of socket, so now I ain't able to use the arm again. So I'm down to one hand. You may have seen the video the other day. I tried to tie one with one hand. It's hard. It's almost impossible. So I built me this little machine here. See how it works. Right here, I'm just trying to figure out how to wrap the tail. So I'll get some thread laid down, and then go down and under and back over the top of it, and it passes by. I've tied 5 or 6 on it already, but this is the first one I tried to film. I still gotta make quite a few more adjustments on it, get dialed in, do a little better, and then learn how to actually use it. And it's different. It's hard to not be able to use your fingers, I'll tell you that. It's harder to tie on than if you're using both your hands. The way you have to lay your material down is different. And it's a whole lot slower. Somebody can tie jigs, trap flies and stuff. You couldn't keep up with them on this thing. But it's better than nothing. As we go along here, I do use speed ups to get us through this video to make up for the speed on that thing. Right here, I'm just throwing down some Dennis Rodman, kind of tacky it up where it holds the thread on there. Round and round we go. It don't mess the leg hard. I do leave all my mistakes in this video, and I make quite a few, just so you'll see what happens if something goes wrong when you're using that little machine there. You have to regroup and start over. And that's what I'm doing right here. I pushed it all the way across the other side where your thread's up so high away from your hook. There's no way to really take the tension off of it. And it comes around, so it just pushes your material around. So you have to adjust for that by putting it over on the side. And that's one of the things I want to try to adjust on it, is get it closer down to the jig head. But the trouble is, you gotta have so much room when you roll your jig up. So you have to kind of split the difference in it in case you want to roll your jig around. And you can see here, I need to go buy me a pair of scissors. These here ain't no count. And the other one I got, about 20-year-old, apparently they get dull. Now I could edit out all these mistakes and stuff. I kind of like watching. And maybe this would encourage somebody that's afraid to try tying jigs or trout flies, thinking you have to be perfect. In reality, you don't have to be. Everything I tie starts out as a mess, and sometimes it ends in a mess. Right here, I'm just letting the Thread Twister 2000 do its job. And I roll it up. When I roll it up, it don't line up as good for some reason. I need to keep in mind to lay most of my thread down when I got the jig turned over the right way there. Now right here, I get in a little bit of trouble laying this marabou down here and push it over to this side. So I had to back up and restart again. It's just a little harder to get your material laid down at first. But once it bites, she's there. Right here, I'm just gonna let it make arounds. I've done got down too much thread, and that's one thing I need to keep in mind next time, and that's a pretty good sized thread to start with. If you can't tell, marabou is not my favorite material to work with. I know it does good, but it don't mesh well with my big fat fingers for some reason. All I do is make a mess. Look at that. That thing's so messy, something's gotta eat it. In order to work my thread down the back of down the shank, the hook will say, I have to slide my little jig, and I gotta put me a set screw on it so I can adjust it, just turn it and adjust it a little at a time, because sometimes I go too far and creates problems. Right here, I'm just free rolling, trying to make up some speed, which works out pretty good. If you're worried about that bald spot, I'm gonna patch her up right here. Now this part right here is kind of neat. Got material down where I want it, and it comes around. For some reason I didn't like it, so I stop it right here, back it back up, and go at it again. Got it the way I want it. Pull back to the other material, let her go around. That's the name of the game with this thing. If you're wondering if I'm planning on using this from now on, I mean, maybe some, but I'm primarily just made it so it can still tie jigs and trout flies if I have to have nerve surgery on my shoulder to ever get my piece back together. Whoa, it's alligator roll. Watch him roll, boys. Sorry about that, I get excited. If y'all like what you've seen so far, you stuck it out this far, I will smack that like and subscribe button for me. I'd appreciate it. If you like wild ideals and stuff you ain't never seen before, this might be the channel for you. So, hope you subscribe and have some fun with me. We won't take ourselves too serious around here. When I roll this jig up, I'm starting to get slack right there. And that thread, it tightens up when it goes around the back side, and it's plenty tight. But I don't like the way that looks like that, so I roll it back over in the down position. You can see it don't have that slack no more. I got quite a few more adjustments I need to make, and I come up with something else that can guide my strings. It's going to be a learning process, so hang around with me. We'll learn it together. I don't know what it is about Flasher Boo, but if I lay down 20 pieces, I only wind up with 2 at the end of it. It disappears on me every time. It gets down in the jig and I don't know where it all goes. I really had a hard time with that Flasher Boo trying to get it tied on there with this thing. So, next time I'll just make a loop and hook around the bottom of the collar and pull it up and just start them all at one time, like you would on a regular jig or something. Because I mean, I just didn't have no luck with it. I finally got it laid down. There's most definitely going to be some tricks to be learned tying with this here Thread Twister 2000 for sure. And I could have edited some of this stuff out, but it wouldn't be fair to anybody that was really interested in how this thing's working if I edited out all these mistakes. Editing is a powerful thing because you can be the hero every day. So you got good editing. But unfortunately, I don't get to be the hero every day. So some days I get to be the old jig tire. I know I watch some of these other fellers and gals. One of my favorite tires, she is a female, and she is awesome. And you probably know who I'm talking about. She puts me to sleep. That's why I call her the goat lady. I watch these other folks, though. I mean, so neat and clean. Man, they do good work. That just ain't my style. I'm more when in doubt, just wrap it out and it'll work out somewhere. Right here, I'm just letting no 2000 do her job. Round and round and round. Sit back and watch it, make sure it don't get haywire, which it will. You know how it goes. It's already wanting to angle back towards the rear end. I originally was wanting to keep it up on the collar of it, but I get in such a mess, I just wind up wrapping it all up a little further back. The next one I'll try won't have that lead collar on it. I'll see how it does like that. And right here, I just get a little impatient and start making the alligator rolls. Look at it. Speed things up like that. You just gotta really pay attention because it don't take a second. You're in trouble when you start pre-rolling like that. Which ain't bad, you just back it up and readjust and take off again. Watch right here, I think I get in a little bit of trouble just very shortly here. Now, there she went. Just like sliding off into a snowy ditch. Next thing you know, you're in too deep to get out. Now, I done figured out one little trick there to keep that from happening. But once I get me a guide and an adjustment bolt on my bottom of my jig sled, then I won't have to worry about going too far like that. You think you're just moving it eighth of an inch, you may move it 3/8 half. It's just hard to judge. But I'll get that all worked out. Right here, I had this pink feather laying over here, and I was enjoying tying, getting into it a little bit, so I just reached over and stuck it on there. I don't know what it is about crappie, they like wild colors, seems like. The uglier the better. With my big fat fingers, I always have trouble trying to lay material down like this on the top side of the jig. Guess ain't enough room for a big fat thumb or something. What I do is get poked. Look at that pretty pink feather. And to see that hanging out of a big crappie's mouth. The old feller got us into fly fishing. He showed up with his box of flies, and we showed up our box of flies. He'd looking ours over, and he declared we'd have to give them trout glasses to find their flies. He showed us what he was fishing with. Heck, 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. Yeah, you boys won't never catch no fish on that. They can't see them flies. He caught more trout than anybody I ever seen catch in 2.5 days in my whole life. I never seen nothing like it. The trail had washed out and been closed for 2 years. We rode horses back in there in camps. Never seen anybody catch trout the way that man there did. I was hooked on the fly rod, love it ever since. You listen right here, the Thread Twister 2000, just running smooth and quiet as you can be. Of course, he's brand new. Got a lot of that, I guess. He'll probably get a little louder, get a little wobblier as time goes on. Right here, I give her a few more alligator rolls. Getting impatient, trying to cover up all that hot pink there. I didn't think that out. I really wind up laying down way too much thread. Time to get it wrapped and covered up that pink. But it still turned out decent. I really didn't start with a plan on this. I just wanted to try to, I was more concentrating on the machine, seeing how it worked and everything. And getting my camera set back up. I finally built a good bracket to put it on. And I'm tickled about that too. It seems like every other jig I'm trying a new setup. But since my shoulder trouble started, I just can't seem to get comfortable, no matter how it's set up. But I've been slinging a lot of it. Hopefully it'll get me back together and I'll be back to freewheeling tying, I hope. You say that string ain't it something? I won't make it do that. So after I get it dallied off her, put a little more Dennis Rodman on there. Mop it on. I got UV glue, but I ain't got a way really to cure it. No. So I gotta get me in there a lot. It probably don't need nothing on it, especially all that thread, but it's tied on there pretty good. Back when I was younger, I never did use hardly no glue, except for maybe on the head of a trout fly. But my fingers don't work as good as they used to, so I can glue it up now, I guess. Uh-oh. Don't run off yet, because I think I got a video, a wide view of my setup, kind of give you an idea of how I'm set up. Towards the end of this thing, somewhere here, should be coming up on it. Now right here, I'm just taking some alligator rolls, checking her out, see what we come up with. You gotta admit, that pink looks pretty good on there. That pink says, "Come and eat me, big boy." Crappie or love that ugly thing. So there's the finished product. Hang around, I'll introduce you to the Thread Twister 2000. Right here, I'm pulling on it pretty hard. I meant to show in the video earlier on, about 2 wraps, you can't hardly move it. So it's pulling in there pretty tight. Folks, this is SDA's electric jig tying machine. The Thread Twister. Sitting on a thing of beauty. Look at that, just round and around and around. As you can see there, I've got room to take up some of that distance. I can get it closer, I'm sure. In fact, I set this thing up 3 times. First time worked perfect. And I put it together with actually junk, nothing but junk. And it wasn't licensed, so I tore it apart. Put it all back together with stronger stuff. Well, it wouldn't work. So I had to tear it all back apart, and what I got there now is nothing I started with before.